In studio right now, and I guess we're going to do somebody in studio and on phone. Dr. Kenneth Meslin is in now. Good morning.
Good morning.
And also on the phone line, we're going to speak with Mary Clark. Mary? Where are you located? Are you down in Oneonta area? Where are you?
I'm in Binghamton area.
In Binghamton, got it. So you guys are we're in the middle of a counter-inaugural rally, which is being planned for here in Utica. Coming up, is it tomorrow or Saturday? When are you guys doing
Saturday.
this? Saturday. So I'll start with you there, Dr. Ken Meslin. Why the rally? I mean, isn't this a time where we should be unified around? Even though you might not have voted for him, he is our president.
The rally. Think of the rally as an inauguration of hope and resistance.
Okay.
Hope has to do with the issue that many things have been raised in the campaign, which we want to protect. Basically, we're talking about American values, some Central American values. You might summarize them in a statement like respect for all members of the community.
All right.
One of the things that's been demonstrated in the primaries is a behavior that demeans a number of groups in the communary. So,
well, we've seen a little of it here, even after the election.
Yes,
in some cases. And Mary, what is planned for Saturday here in Utica? And is this stuff you guys are doing across the state?
Oh, we're doing things all across the state.
Okay.
There's rallies in Delhi, in Binghamton, in Ithaca, in Utica. And I think Ken could tell you all about the Utica rally.
All right. And that's going to be what, 1 till 5 on Saturday?
That's correct.
Okay. How many people do you think you're going to have out there?
We're estimating somewhere between 250 and 450.
And where are you doing this, by the way?
At St. Francis de Sales.
Okay.
On Genesee and Eagle.
Is that
Utica.
That's the old boxing location there?
That's
right.
That's
the
right.
original DeSales.
That's right.
But became the boxing location for a while, the Boxing Association. And again, so key issues are: is it just about treating people with
that's one of the issues.
How about the women? How about appointing judges? He's going to appoint, he says, conservative judges, with the goal of defunding Planned Parenthood and potentially maybe overturning Roe v. Wade.
Yes. And in fact, perhaps Mary might say something first about what's really right in front of us, and that's the ACA or the Obamacare issue.
Okay.
I think that's something that's right on the horizon. They've already started the movement in both houses to repeal the ACA, the healthcare reform.
Yeah.
And we're organizing rallies. We're organizing a national bus trip is actually coming through New York State. It was in New York City yesterday. It'll be coming through Albany, Binghamton area on the 20th. But we're just standing up to save our health care. Don't take away our health care, telling our congressional people like Claudia Tenney not to take away our health care, because not only are we talking about the repeal of the ACA, but they're also planning to move ahead with privatizing Medicare.
They're not, though.
To raise the age. What?
I just got to stop there. Trump has said on many occasions that he does not want to privatize.
This is very interesting, too, is that there seems to be right now a bit of a divide between what President-elect Trump is saying and what the Republican Congress is saying.
Exactly.
He's not necessarily agreeing. And even the repeal... Even repeal of Obamacare or the whatever
Affordable
Care Act, even repealing that, the Trump and Congress are at odds right now. So I don't think we know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, but I think in terms of that's why we really need to raise our voices to stand up and say, don't take away our health care. Keep your hands off our Medicare, our Medicaid. They're talking about vouchering Medicaid to the states, which would, about block granting Medicaid to the states, which would cost New York State and hurt New York State hospitals, individuals who are on it. It just causes budget problems to our county. a lot of these ideas are they take away health care from people, but they also hurt us financially in our communities. So we're saying let's stand up to that. Because those are things that are right on the horizon now, that are happening now. And that's why we're building these resistance movements, that this is just the first thing that is happening. We have environmental protections, a whole slew of things that are on the horizon that the Republican Congress is saying that they want to go after.
And I do have to, in fairness, and by the way, it's Dr. Kenneth Meslin and Mary Clark, and they are organizers, the Central New York Citizens in Action, which is holding an event on Saturday at DeSales Center, 309 Genesee Street in Utica County, our inaugural rally, coinciding with the presidential inauguration that's happening. But, I'll start with you, Mary, on this, but where were you guys on Election Day? Because at the end of the day, the Republicans, and honestly, it was not too long ago, all the commentary was about, will there ever be another Republican president? Is this the end of the Republican Party? The Republican Party is ending. And now we're having a conversation about a wounded and damaged Democrat Party. Where in the hell were your voters on Election Day?
I think we all understood what happened. Well, we didn't completely understand, but we certainly, I think people were frustrated. A lot of people stayed home. They were, a lot of disenfranchisement of our voters. But, people were frustrated. They were economically frustrated. We know in our district it's a hard time. So I think people made some choices. I think what we will see as we go forward, people will be saying, oh, I didn't really mean these policies. I think they reacted to a not popular candidate. I think they reacted to their financial pressures. But I think they didn't really vote for the change that is about to happen. And I don't think people voted to have their health care taken away. I don't think people had voted to have their environmental protections taken away. I don't think they voted.
Do you believe that your movement will? You're already the Democrats and those who are liberal are already in your camp. But you believe that you're trying to appeal to those that might be maybe moderates or leaning to the right?
And I think we're also appealing to people who realize that don't want to see the things that we have now taken away. Like I said, environmental protection,
on the healthcare,
those kind of things.
On the healthcare point, it seemed, the talk is that they would replace it with something. We don't know yet what that would be. It could turn out to be better for your members and the people who live in New York.
Well, it could turn out to be better, but since no program has been presented over, let's say, about 10 years of discussion of the health care by the Republican Party, and the president has promised a health care plan that, universal coverage, lower cost. No one has details of a plan like that. No one can conceive of details like a plan like that. So I think this is more rhetoric. We have heard an awful lot of rhetoric from President-elect Trump, statements that he has promised and may or may not be able to come through on, but he's then also reversed his position on that.
And that's fair, but it does sound more of a protest, if you will, of Republicans, more so than Trump, because on the Medicare Medicaid issue. I'm sorry,
and Republicans are going to have a hard time privatizing, even though you see Republicans talking about it, they've talked about this for a long time. And when a push comes to shove, it hits home for people, and they always you kind of back away. Tim is on the line, wants to pipe in here on this. Tim in Utica, you're on.
Yes, the comment I want to make is yes, I realize that Obamacare, actually the states had to opt into it, and New York did. But you can make up to about $15,500, and you can get Medicaid, which is basically welfare coverage, which the taxpayers have to pay for. It's not free lunch; somebody has to pay for it. That being said, I make about $17,000 a year. All right, I do not qualify for Medicaid. I cannot afford to buy insurance. Now I am getting hit with under the individual mandate. I'm getting hit with a tax penalty. How the heck
Actually,
is that?
in New York
How the heck
State,
is that?
Hold
First
on,
of all, how is that
hold on.
constitutional, and how is that helping me?
Okay, Mary, you want to first of all, $17,000 a year. You're not going to be able to afford insurance.
he's earning $17,000. We have what we call, as part of Obamacare, ACA, we have the essential health plan here in New York State. You can apply for that right today. If you go down to your enroller in the Utica area, you will be able to qualify, and you'll pay less than you could pay $0 to $20 a month, and you will have health care at the income level that you just
How many
stated.
people do you feel that say they can't afford health care, have been listening to the news, and could be like what you say Tim could accomplish, and could get something for nothing or a small
$20,
nominal
yeah.
fee? How many do you think are out there that just don't even apply because they don't feel that they don't feel that they apply for it?
Yeah, I think what we found in New York with the ACA, 2/3 of those who are uninsured in New York actually got coverage. So there's another third, about a million people are out there in New York State who actually could apply, and I would dare say probably, half would qualify for a very low cost.
Okay, all right. Dr. Ken Meslin, I want to ask you a last question before I'll give you a chance to promote what you're doing tomorrow and Saturday. But why is it that until you lose something, nobody seems to stand up? You have a Republican Senate, you have a Republican House, you have a Republican president, you have a Supreme Court justice that's about to be nominated, and that will go through confirmation, and he most likely will be conservative. Now everybody is up in arms. Why does it take that? Apathy, unless your fear. Without fear, we're apathetic, it seems.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't describe it as apathy because, for example, we've been having a debate with the Republican Party since the Gingrich Congress over the funding of the regulatory agencies. So this is not an issue that's new.
But you got your butts kicked here.
There's a Republican victory now.
Exactly
victory, what turned that victory could have been Russian fake news. It could have been many things.
Right.
We don't know which turned that victory.
End of the day, though, legitimate election. Whether he was delegitimized by Putin, but at the same time, do you really think that Putin did anything differently than what the Republican Party and those negative ads would have done anyway, or conservative groups would have done anyway? I don't know that would have changed anything, but at the end of the day, Republican House, Republican Senate, Republican President, you're trying to set agenda. How successful do you think you're going to be? And how relentless will you be? Does it all end on Saturday? What happens after Saturday?
That's clear. The answer is clear.
Yeah.
And the answer is clear because this change in policy direction is the most profound. Maybe if you want to go back to the Civil War, you can talk about a presidential shift that marks such a change in society.
All right, your counter-inaugural rally is planned for in Utica. It'll be right on Genesee Street from 1 till 5 p.m. on Saturday. It'll be at the DeSales Center, the former DeSales Gymnasium, I believe is what that's
correct.
That is over there at 309 Genesee Street. And there'll be speakers. You're going to do workshops and kits. And
that's right.
If somebody wants to get involved, they'll be able to get involved as well. And
yes, there'll be breakouts to talk about issues like the ACA and what we can do about it, what kind of actions we can take. There'll be breakouts around all issues. I mentioned this way in which we treat other people. The president modeled some behavior which we feel is fundamentally in reversal of American tradition.
A lot of unknowns right now. It's going to be interesting to see where this all goes. Good luck.
Can I mention one thing quickly, and that is the website for the CNY Citizen Action is CNYCIA. CNYCIA.org.
Okay.
So if you want their information, easy to get.
All right. Thanks so much.
Join us on Saturday, please.
It's going to be interesting to see how many of you guys get to turn out on Saturday. We'll be watching.